Good evening and welcome to Arizona Illustrated for Monday, the 10th of December, 2012. I'm Tony Paniagua. We've been hearing a lot about national and international monetary challenges, but while there is little we can do personally about such broad issues, taking care of your individual economic situation is much more feasible. Tonight we are joined by a financial blogger, business owner, and author who is a frequent contributor to national programs about this topic. Natalie Pace is also the founder and CEO of the Women's Investment Network. Natalie, thanks for being here.
Nice to be here. Thanks, Tony.
So how did this life begin for you and the Women's Investment Network?
Well, when I got my divorce, like a lot of single moms, it wasn't enough money to really pay the bills. And that's not, of course, my ex-husband's fault. When you get a divorce, it seems like you have half the income and double the expenses. So I wanted to earn money while you sleep, and I did quite well at it. So that's how the Women's Investment Network started. Is all my girlfriends were losing money in the dot-com recession, and they said, will you please teach us what you know? And from there, it just ballooned. I mean, before I knew it, I was on Forbes, and then I was really honored when a Nobel Prize-winning economist thought my ideas were worthy to pen the preface to my book, You versus Wall Street.
And let's talk about that book. What is your message in that book for the average person out there?
Well, my message is this, is that modern portfolio theory is easy as a pie chart. If you've been using the buy and hold strategy, then you've had to watch your nest egg go on the Wall Street roller coaster. And as we know, binge and purge diets don't really work that well. It's far better to get fiscally fit. And that's my message too, is that just like you can eat right and stay healthy, and that's the best health plan, you can also apply those ideas to your nest egg. And once you know what's healthy, then it's much easier. And modern portfolio theory is a healthier strategy for your nest egg than buy and hold during these times.
So you were mentioning that you were making money during the recession. And so was it some secrets you discovered, or was it just typical hard work and research, or what would you
No,
credit
it
that to?
definitely was some secrets that I discovered. And I actually ended up becoming a #1 stock picker as a result of those secrets. And they are outlined in You versus Wall Street. It's not a secret anymore. But for most people, I was trading individual stocks. For most people, that's a high-risk game. So in your nest egg, don't do it. But we also outline the nest egg strategies. And again, it can be easy as a pie chart. In fact, on page 92 of You versus Wall Street, I put pie charts that show you a sample. So basically, you need to get diversified, keep enough safe, and you have to rebalance once a year because we are in a kind of give me, take me, slow growth environment.
And what about the holidays? Of course, we're a couple of weeks away from the big one for people who are out there spending their money. What would you recommend to the average person out there about how they deal with their money?
Well, especially today when most Americans are dealing with heavy debt. And you probably know the statistics. 1 out of every 10 is being pursued already by a debt collector. So what I would say is that even now, let's make sure that you are putting 10% of your income into a tax-protected retirement account religiously, even if you don't know how to invest it. Stick it in there and have it in the money markets, so an IRA or a 401k. The second thing is, don't go crazy with thinking that you have to spend a lot of money to have a great holiday. In fact, one of the most memorable holidays I've ever had was one where I spent almost nothing. As a single mom, sometimes you have to do that. So I say there's 3 B's. Remember how you always say as parents that kids like the boxes better? If it's a lean year, why not make the boxes into a pirate ship and give the kids the crayons to decorate it with? Why not fill the living room with balloons? Those are fairly inexpensive, and have something festive and fun. And the other one, and this is one of my favorite, I still do it. I started it when I had the lean years, but I still do it. It's the Bad Santa Party. And you invite people, it's a potluck, so it's virtually free, and everybody brings the worst gift they ever received, and you all exchange them.
So you don't have to spend a lot of money to have a good time, obviously.
You don't, and honestly, that's what holidays are about. People want your time and your love more than your money. Let's make it that, and then you won't get into more debt.
All right, we have a little bit about a minute left here. What about for 2013? What are some tips that you have for the new year?
Well, for the new year, I think the biggest tip I can give everybody is this. Most people are overspending on their basic needs. So, a lot of us, if you're finding that you're paying your bills, what I call buried alive in bills and struggling to survive, the truth is your big ticket items are out of whack. And that's what we need to get into straits. So what I would say is we're gonna be talking again about this in January, so stay tuned. But that's the key: is we have to have 50% to thrive and 50% to survive. If you're struggling to survive right now, it's because you're buried alive in bills.
Okay, well, Natalie Pace, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck to you in 2013.
Thank you.
A company with a unique business model recently opened its doors in Tucson, and the owners say they will use part of their profits to help feed the homeless. Caitlin Harrington has that interview.
In studio with me now is Alok Appadurai. He is the founder of Fed by Threads. Alok, thank you for joining me today.
Caitlin, thanks for having me on.
So talk to me first. Let's talk about this idea of Fed by Threads and where it first came from and how it's kind of grown over the last year.
Sure. A year ago when my partner was bulging pregnant, we wanted to have a shirt made for our dance studio, the Movement Shala, down on 9th Street. And at the same time, we got information from the food banks here down in southern Arizona that the hunger challenge in the U.S., just 50 million Americans food insecure, 16.7 million American kids food insecure, and we said we have to do something. So we decided we would cover the cost of 12 meals through the food bank system from each of one of our community shirts that we were going to have. But the idea just took off. People started asking us to make new designs and keep going with it, and so we did. And then people started asking us hard questions like, where are you getting your pieces manufactured and what fabrics are you using? And we really didn't come from the apparel world. We didn't know much about it. So we spent the last 8 months shifting manufacturing back to the United States and to all sustainable fabrics. And it's been a great journey.
Can you show us some of the examples? You brought some of the clothing here and tell us what sustainable materials are being used for these.
Sure. I brought a piece here. This is a hand-cut, hand-sewn slit back, but what you wouldn't know is that it's made of 45% recycled plastic bottles, 55% organic cotton. So as we began to learn more about what does it mean to be sustainable, to have sustainable fabrics, it really opened up a whole world. This piece, which has super cute, it's got cut out elbows, incredibly soft, but it's also 55% a hemp blend with organic cotton. And so we really have been exploring. We've got pieces that are made out of repurposed wood pulps, which is our most high-end fabric. We have pieces that are coming that have denim upcycled into organic cottons. This is a skirt in a beautiful eggplant color, and these are all low-impact dyes, which is another element of garment manufacturing we've been learning about, and that we just think that purple is just divine, and that's also part of our hemp collection. And this piece, sorry, just finished, is one piece that is 100% organic cotton, incredibly soft and light, done in seawater color.
And in addition to the clothes being sustainable, like it goes further than that. Your store, the hangers, the shipping. So talk to me about the process of deciding to make everything sustainable and why that was important.
Right. You know, as we got into this, we realized there's so many more choices beyond just the fabrics. Our hang tags are recycled with soy inks. Our postcards are recycled with soy inks. The best example that I like to give is our mailers. When we ship something to someone anywhere in the country, we started with Tyvek plastic mailers, and we realized these are going to live in landfills forever. So we pay 400% more to have mailers that are compostable, biodegradable, and they also have 2 adhesive strips. So if someone wants to return a piece to us, and we do all free return shipping, they can just use that second adhesive strip, put the piece back in, close it up, use the same package. So we're really proud of drilling down as far as we can. We have a long way to go. We're not perfect. And some people call us crazy that we're taking on all these added costs to do things a little different, shake the trees, while also not raising our prices the way that would be industry normal. And we really want these pieces to be at price points that the average American can say, oh, I want to shift back to made in America. I want to have pieces that protect the environment, and I want to have pieces that feed 12 meals to hungry Americans, but I don't want to break the bank. And so we're doing our best to have a range of pieces that start at as low as $22. Our most expensive piece is $72. We think it's an accessible range for people.
We have about 30 seconds left, but can you tell our audience the total number of meals that you have provided so far and what your goal is for the future?
Sure. Our goal for 2012 was to generate 10,000 meals, and we've actually blown right through that. Our current count is 12,132 meals, and we think we're going to cross 15,000 by the end of 2012.
Oh, look, I thank you so much for joining me today.
Caitlin, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Earlier this year, there was some political controversy about the possible use of city dollars to help pay for the restoration of a building that is owned by the Catholic Diocese. That deal fell apart, but those who support the structure in Tucson say it is a vital part of our history and architecture. Tonight, we'll give you a tour of the Marist College.
This is the Marist College building, a historic three-story adobe structure in the heart of downtown Tucson. Built in 1915, the Marist College has been an important part of the Catholic tradition in Tucson, providing a church-based education for countless children from surrounding communities. But the building is in need of restoration, and its future is uncertain.
The first time I was missioned to, because we were missioned to St. Augustine, was in 1958.
Sister Mary Evelyn Soto appears in this photo with her students in 1958. She now takes care of the books at Immaculate Heart Academy, and she says she no longer is in the classroom. But she remembers fondly her time working with students at the Marist building adjacent to San Agustin Cathedral.
And I had first grade and a very large class, children, diversity of children. I had Hispanics, Anglos. I recall it as a beautiful class, but I would say all the children attending at that time were children from the neighborhood.
The Marist College building was converted into office space for the diocese before it was eventually vacated in 2002. And Sister Soto says she feared the worst when portions of the structure gave way during a storm in 2005.
There was a Marist brother here not too long ago, and I told him about it, so we went over so he could see it, And I thought at that time they were going to demolish it.
The deterioration of the building is dramatic, and more than a few people thought the storm damage signified the beginning of the end for the Marist College building.
We ran roof drains. You can see there's a flexible piping coming from the roof to drain any excess water off the roof.
John Shaheen is property manager for the Catholic Diocese of Tucson. He says the church has done what it can to mitigate the damage to the building.
Proactively, we reinforced the other corners of the building just to make sure the same thing didn't happen there. But what did happen was the roof drains got blocked up, caused water to get behind the wall, and the adobe sucked it up and then just washed out, dissolved. There's old pits underground in some of those
That's
sinkholes.
right. I remember seeing that in another building.
Right, yeah.
Shaheen walked us through the building with co-worker Steph Koneman, pointing out the various architectural features that make the Marist building unique. He says the high ceilings and the wooden floors were covered up during the conversion to office space. But a restoration process would reveal the original design visible in the photo of Sister Soto's classroom.
But I'm thinking if you walk this way before they put the partitions up, I'm wondering if she was over here, because I'm thinking this is probably where the chalkboard would have gone.
Well, there's a window here too. It could have been here. Then this wall wasn't here?
No, this wall wasn't here. This wall was here, but the door opening wasn't.
According to Shaheen, the building is salvageable. He says since the initial storm damage of 2005, engineers have stabilized the structure and are now monitoring it closely.
On the walls here, you'll notice these markings. These were put there by the structural engineers to monitor any movement in the building. And they're dated 2/27/08. You'll see some back as far as 2005. And as you've noticed, that there hasn't been any movement or cracks in the building.
The Marist College is clearly in need of work, and it remains to be seen how the story unfolds for this historic structure located in the heart of downtown Tucson.
What the developers like, though, is when they've come and looked at the building, is not the upper floors, but it's the basement, because they see so much potential here.
Sheikhin says this basement, made of poured concrete, is an attractive feature to developers who envision a restaurant or some sort of community gathering place.
When they come down here, they see a brightly lit space. There's been talk about putting a bakery down here. There's been talk about making this into a restaurant or a hotel or an information center. Everybody wanted to basically do the same thing with the basement and make this into some type of a restaurant or eatery. And watch.
Do you have any thoughts on what you would like to see happen with the building?
Well, I would like to see it restored. You know, it probably, I don't know, offices or something like that in conjunction with the cathedral, with the parish, with.
Yeah. You would like for the church to retain control, ownership of it?
Oh, definitely.
Circus families can sometimes trace their origins to this business for several generations. And tonight we bring you an example from an Italian organization that has been around for nearly 2 centuries. Photojournalist and producer Mitch Riley brings us this behind-the-scenes look at the Zoppe family and their circus.
Well, I believe it's important for him to know what this life is because it's been my life since I was born. I cherish it like nothing else, like it's the most important thing in my life. My name is Giovanni Zoppe, and I'm the guy
He's the guy that books the dates, organizes transportation, and handles the business affairs. It's a 20-week tour, and Tucson is the last stop.
Let's go, guys!
But more importantly,
My name is Giovanni Zoppe. I play Nino the Clown.
along with playing Nino the Clown, Giovanni Zoppe is now the patriarch of the Zoppe Family Circus.
What? I'm the patriarch? Whenever the press calls me that, I just feel very antiquated. It's definitely a compliment.
He's not completely comfortable with the concept, since the role of patriarch is relatively new. His father, Alberto, passed away in March of 2009.
He is still definitely the patriarch of my family circus. Every show we reflect on him, and every show we look back and see that chair sitting back behind me.
During each show, his father's chair sits empty by the curtain entrance.
And just know his inspiration is there. The reason why we're doing this is because of him. And the chair has been there every day, every single moment since the day he passed away.
While Giovanni credits his father with being the inspiration and the essence of the show, he also appreciates the way his father taught him about circus.
That was one of the great things about my father. He let me figure it out for myself. He only told me stories about himself growing up and about what he experienced. He was a great clown, my father. When you grow up in a circus family, a true circus family, you are all clowns. It's commedia.
The Zoppe Circus began in 1842 when a French street performer named Napoleon Zoppe fell in love with an equestrian ballerina. The pair founded the circus that still bears their name.
This is the backyard of our lot. The whole area within our RVs and our front fence is our lot. We're standing next to my trailer, which is right beside of our tent. We don't work here, we live here. This is our home. The trailers aren't parked in a circle by accident. They're parked here as a community. This is our own community here. I could depend on anybody on that side of the lot, and they could depend on me.
These are just a few of the faces that make up the Zope Circus. Giovanni's sister, Tosca Zope, is the equestrian ballerina. Her husband, Jay, plays the boss clown. Ariel Abasher, the wire dancer. Rudolph Heinen, the dog trainer. Nate Cyril, juggler. And Giovanni's mother, Sandra Zope.
Like any family, it's not all roses. I mean, there's issues every day. Every day is something else. Somebody's messing up, in my opinion. But in their opinion, I'm messing up. It's a family, so.
Not all are related by blood, but certainly by this shared experience. Giovanni Zope represents the 6th generation of this circus family. His son Julian is the 7th.
To raise a child here, no matter what town we're in, around the country, that's where he wakes up, on the side of his tent. He wakes up and he knows where he's at. His backyard is different, but his place is the same.
For this circle to continue, new generations must learn the ways of the Zope Circus.
Here we wake up and we're with our children all day long. Our children are part of our life, continually. And they get up in the morning and the first thing they do, they start playing with juggling clubs or walking on little wires or doing tumbling, or that's their games, that's they play. They play like children play.
Adrian Poema Jr. is an 8th generation circus performer.
And I do juggling, I do tumbling, trampoline, Russian swing, a lot of acrobatics. What I like the most about working in the circus is be able to perform for the people, because when they leave the tent, those people will remember the show for the rest of their lives.
Adrian's older sisters, Catherine and Mariana, are in their trailer preparing for the show. Everyone on the lot is getting ready.
It's between shows right now. We're gonna get a little rain, but no big deal. It's gonna go. We're trying to run to start the new show. We have a pre-show starting in less than 5 minutes now. Before our show starts, all of our artists are in front of our tent, greeting our audience, meeting them, saying hello, how are you doing? Thank you for coming to the show.
So please, don't tell anybody about it.
Just speaking to them as human beings, not as this plastic character on a stage or in a ring 100 feet away that you can't even touch. That brings the personal feeling, I think, to what we do. We want to feel it as much as the audience wants to feel it.
Giovanni believes that this intimate connection with the audience also strengthens the bond between the performers.
We become one unit, these 28 people that are on this lot today. We're one family unit that travels from town to town together. And it just, the family bond between us grows stronger and stronger with each mile we drive.
It's time for the main event, and now Giovanni must become Nino the Clown. His son Julian and wife Amy join him in the trailer to prepare. It's another chance to teach the next generation, in this case, how to create the face of a clown.
Mama.
Giovanni welcomes the transformation.
Well, I know my character, Nino, is basically me, but he's a kid. A big kid, just wanting to be part of it all. If it was up to me, I'd be Nino all the time. But I can't. So I have to become Giovanni again. You have a red tie, Amy?
His wife Amy has her preference as well.
I think she probably has a better time dealing with Nino than Giovanni. I think she'd rather live with Nino than Giovanni.
Let's give him a great big welcome.
Giovanni's mother, Sandra Zope, introduces the show, sharing the history of this Italian family circus. And then it begins.
En 5 minutos comenzamos. Por favor, todos preparados.
I know we are doing something here. What it is, I'm not sure. But that's what I hope people get when they leave here. I hope they get the feeling that we welcome them here, we want them to come. It's about family, it's about joy, it's about celebration, and it's about circus above all.
For Giovanni, who he shares this circus life with, is just as important as the circus itself.
With my wife and my children and my son, but also with my mother and with my father till he passed away, and with my sisters and with my brother-in-laws. I mean, I'm 45 years old and I still live at home, and I have no regrets. Very happy because of that.
As for the next generation, Julian will continue to learn from his father, and maybe someday share this circus life with his own son.
I want him to grow up in this life and understand what it is, but in saying that, I also want him to have his opportunity. I want him to choose his own pathway, whatever his pathway is.
In tonight's video postcard from photographer and editor Brad Wong, we take you to the annual El Nacimiento exhibit at the Tucson Museum of Art. It has become a very popular destination for multi-generational visitors. You can get more news and information on our website, azpm.org. To comment on any story you saw tonight, click on it online and go to the bottom. We can also be reached via Facebook and Twitter. Coming up tomorrow night, we'll tell you about the new aquarium exhibit that is scheduled to open next month at the Arizona Sonora Desert Museum. And Market on the Move. It's a program where $10 will buy you 60 pounds of food. I'm Tony Paniagua. From all of us at Arizona Public Media, have a great night.